Human brain is tremendously loaded by so many bombardment. The bombardment from every corner, from every direction. Lots of load people are pushing to each other. The past influencing the present. The past generation is loading their rotten knowledge on the new generation, and they are proving that the old is right. Authorities are pushing people, entire mankind, from every direction. Man has no freedom. And every religion is thinking that they are right. Their religion is the only one. Others are false. Their God is the only God. Their path is the only right path. Others are false. There are so many conclusions. Every human being is filled by thousands and millions of conclusions. These concluding phenomena and these conclusions are so dangerous that they are destroying human intelligence. Human brain has no energy to flower in goodness. Therefore, it is collecting the bad, which is evil. Bad in sense of that destructive, ugly, evil energy increasing. Why? This is the question. Question is not that there is bad time as a Kali Yuga, dark time, material time. It was always in past the same. In time of Buddha or before Buddha, have you seen there was Mahabharata? Means Maha means great, Bharata, the great war. In this war, millions of people butchered and killed. And who killed? The cousins, the brothers, Kauravas and Pandavas. What sort of people they were? How you can kill your own brothers and sisters, your cousins? They must be very insensitive human beings. And since thousands of years you regard them great people, warriors. Even to kill a small animal is so horrible, so painful. And to kill your own brothers and sisters and family members, one must be very insensitive heart and mind and brain. And before this, there were many, many other wars in Egypt and in Europe, Germania and Romania, Romans, not Romania, Romans and Germania, Germans, butchered to each other. And before this man, whose name was Alexander from Egypt, whom you have given the title Alexander the Great. I don't know why he is called great. His name should be Alexander the Butcherer, the Killer. Because you regard since thousands of years violence, killings, and you write these things as a holy book, in holy book, and you worship this violence. And these are the facts. And there were other person, Timur. They invaded in India and destroys India, broken the temples. Millions of people were killed. These Mughals were very brutal. Looted India so much. Killed women, children, raped women, and converted into Muslim. Actually, in India, these are converted Hindus, these Muslims, who has grown their long beard and put the round cap around their head. Thousands of years, when you see the history, this was same thing. And till today, what has changed? Nothing. So, which time there was Satyuga? And which time there is Kali Yuga? It is not that there is such things, Kali Yuga or Satyuga. This is just an ideology, something man has invented. Man was from the very beginning brutal, greedy, and fearful from the Stone Age till now. The psychology remained exactly from that first day till now, till today. Nothing has changed. What has changed is the knowledge is gathered. In scientific world, there are tremendous inventions and knowledge. Only material things have changed. Better houses, better architect, better food, better drinking water, better aeroplanes, better instrument of surgery and satellites, electronics, very sophisticated softwares in electronics and mechanical engineering. Why? Because it's a very important question. Why? Why one-sided progress? And the other side, inside, man remained in darkness. Now, just let's go very deeply into the human psychology and the capacity of brain. Brain has innumerable, incredible capacity. It can invent, create anything. It has tremendous capacity. Mankind has put this capacity in material area. So the brain trained in material area, and so it got tremendous progress. But mankind has not put the similar energy to uncover, discover, to investigate the inner world of psychology, spiritual, deeper values in love or compassion, truth. They didn't put it this the same energy. If you observe your days and your life, if you have lived 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years, you will find that only for few hours, or not even few hours, few moments, you have given little time to investigate for the love, truth, and compassion. But rest of years and time you have given for material things, for purchasing, buying property, or taking care of your comfort, secure your future, always searching security. This is the history of your life, whole mankind. And where you put your energy, that area started working. If you put the same energy to investigate the inner world, you will be enlightened hundreds of times. It's very easy. Now, listen carefully. You have been told that only few people can get enlightened. It is totally wrong. Absolutely wrong. The fact is that most people are lazy, so they go shortcut. They say that we will worship the enlightened person, so we will get their blessing, their blessing. They can touch our chakras, so we can also get enlightened. Hence, you have created, is on this point the authority, spiritual authority, which I always mention is extremely dangerous and evil. Why? Because things doesn't happen in this way. And thought level you have put, when I say you, all humanity, I'm saying, have put enormous time, energy, passion. So you have invented very sophisticated, very, very complicated machinery which never can get fail. Have you ever traveled the aeroplane of Air 380 Airbus, which is the wonder? It cannot go wrong until the pilot does some wrong or sleeps something. It cannot go. It is such a perfection. Man is persuading since at least few hundred thousands only in material level. One direction is going. That direction has become very strong. And what becomes the strong, it gathers the power, and the power is always evil. It's then start destroying. And then in that point comes the greedy gurus and master. They say that this is the time of Kali Yuga. So they exploit you. They say, now this is the time to meditate. So they invent their spiritual products and such a childish meditation, laughing, shouting, dancing, weeping, laughing, sitting silently, not talking, living in silence and mana. All these things comes in the market, spiritual market, for whom? For the people who are going in one direction, material direction. Since they have the darkness in other direction, which is inside, they easily get caught in the network of these self-appointed enlightened people, and they exploit. Then these gurus, masters exploit then these people, normal people, saying, because everybody have fear, because the more you go in material direction, your family direction, and your relationship, the more fear you will have, because material means time. You must understand what time is. They are fearful. And when a person is fearful, he seeks the security in a person who declares that he knows the truth, he knows the God, he is enlightened. And when he seeks the security in such person, then what happens? Then followers start increasing, and these guru masters also start mushrooming, and then starts the dirty game, which is extremely corrupt, destructive, and ends in violence and suicides. Always. This is the story of human endeavor, human struggle, human existence from the very beginning till now. Then they creates these authorities, lots of stories of Kali Yuga and bad time is coming. They say that the planets is in the bad time. So you people start having the rings of many stones. Have you seen the Indian politicians? You should observe that they have in all their fingers, every finger, 5 fingers, they have stones rings. Why? You know this, I think. I don't have to say it. So such things invented Kali Yuga, that Kali Yuga is going to come to make you afraid, fearful. So you can be caught easily by these crocodiles, spiritual crocodiles, who are jokers, who have decorated themselves with fancy dresses and long beard and a cap around their head and bearing diamonds and coming with expensive cars to befool you, to put the weight on your head and to maintain the distance through their expensive Mercedes or Rolls Royce. So you can't reach very near to them because they want to create a distance so you can regard them as a great Bhagwan, great master, enlightened, who rides, who drives very expensive car, and you poor people just standing in the queue with namaste position, bowing and weeping, and this man is driving arrogantly his car, keeping distance that you cannot come close. If you come too close, then you will see his heinous behavior, his dirty game, his evil consciousness. That's why he keeps distance from you. Only few followers are around him who are trustworthy. But they also come to know one day that this man is fraud. And they betray their guru, and the guru gets depressive and commits suicide. This game is going on, you don't understand. And there are lots of scholars, pundits, priests who has divided time, good time, bad time. In India, they say there is the time for marriages. At that time, people start getting married in India. And this is the season of marriage. Do you think there is a season for love? Is there season for love? But there is season for marriage, because marriage is not love. Therefore, in India, they have, or many countries, they have season. And who declares? The pundits and priests. They say this season is the good season, good time, Shubh, because the planets are unfavorable. Actually, planet doesn't care who the hell are you. You are so small. I'm sorry to use this word, but I have to use it. The planets don't care who the hell are you. Because these planets are innumerable, you can't count them. And they are so many millions lights year away. They don't care. This solar system is very teeny little particle. Do you think they will decide your marriages? Similarly, there are priests who has decided which time is better to enter in your new house. In India, when you buy a car, you do puja, don't you? And Europe, they don't. They just buy it and drive. You are conditioned that there is certain time good for you. So these priests can exploit the money. There are politicians, they have their own priests and pundits. These pundits suggest priests that you should wear which stone you must wear in your fingers, and which time you should leave your house. This dirty game is going on. And this bombardment is everywhere. Every time. So you have no freedom. You are the victim of this. This is the psychological violence. These waves are just influencing you at all time. You have no freedom to breathe fresh air. You are being manipulated every time, visible or invisible. Therefore, your intelligence never manifests. You remain whole life a slave, the slave of this ugly society, this violent society, which every human being has contributed to make it. Unless you turn your back from the society, you will never know the love. You must not let influence this society, family, these religions, sects, gurus, masters, industries, politicians. Then only, perhaps, your intelligence can flower, that is goodness. Then you contribute goodness to this world. Goodness got static, it is not moving. And therefore, evil is increasing, the bad is increasing. Every human being is doing goodness within the structure. If you do goodness within the structure, then it is the form of evil. Because goodness can only flower when you break down the structure through observing, not reacting, through being attentive, but not concentration. Being at all time highly alert. As you are walking through full of highly poisonous snakes, one wrong step and you are gone. So dangerous is the situation. It is not a Kali Yuga. Actually, in fact, I would say it is a very dangerous situation. Because the evil is increasing, the volume of evil every human being is contributing through his daily life. And only few people or not at all is contributing for the goodness. Therefore, goodness remained static. It is not moving and not influencing human consciousness. The reservoir or goodness cannot reach you since the reservoir or evil is so huge, because billions of people are doing the same thing. And above evil and good exists truth. Goodness why it is not moving? Because goodness has no relationship with evil. They are two separated, eternally separated. They have no relationship. Goodness is not contributed. Only few people pursue goodness. Very few. They live that. Through that living goodness, then can gather in reservoir. That's why it is very important that many people start living good, pure, not contradict, not confused life. Even if you are contradictive and confused, then don't say that you are not confused. You say, okay, I am confused. Then The moment you say, I am confused, you are integrated. The moment you say, I am contradictive, then you are out of contradiction. The moment you realize that you are inattentive, you are attentive. Because to realize that you are inattentive, you need attention. You understand? Never ever create a contradictory statement in your life. Never say something which you are not, and you can't do it. Be what you are and then move from there without creating the opposite. If you don't create opposite, then you are what you are without opposite. Then that things goes through tremendous transformation. But when you create the opposite, then you are in the conflict. Because when two polarities are created, they fight to each other. For example, when you are greedy or fearful and you want to be non-greedy and not fearful, then this want comes from your desire, which doesn't exist actually. Greed exists, but non-greed doesn't exist. Don't create opposite. What you can do, you end up the greed. This is what you can do. But you cannot be non-greedy, because non-greedy does not exist. It is ideology. What exists is fear. But courage does not exist. Courage or non-fear, fearlessness is just ideology, because it is opposite. Actually, opposite never exists in this world. If you can understand this, you have understood everything. You create opposite, and then you want to achieve this opposite, which will never come because it doesn't exist. For example, fear exists. That is a fact. Now, there is one thing, real thing, that you can end it through understanding. But if you try to be fearlessness, you will never be fearlessness, because it never exists. Similarly, the violence exists. Violence is a fact. The killing, the butchering, the hurting to each other through words, through gesture, psychologically as well as physically. But does non-violence exist? Does? No, it doesn't exist. What happens when the violence comes to an end, stops? Then there is no non-violence. There is something different. There is love and compassion. Non-violence, no. Love has no opposition, no opposite. Hate is not opposite to love, because they have no relationship. They exist independent to each other. Now you understand a little bit. Never create any opposite, and then you are on the right track. You then need not any guidance. You are your own guidance, your own light. You must understand these things. They are very fine. So never be the slave of time, because time will never come which will provide you the good atmosphere, because time doesn't exist from universe level. It is you that who creates that things. And time is always limited, if it is bad or good. Is time bad and good? What is good time? Good time, what do you understand good time? When you have good time, pleasure, isn't that pleasure leads you to pain? Isn't it? Have you watched that you have pleasures and next day you have developed the pain out of this pleasure because you want continue the pleasure and continuous continuum is the momentum of pain. So your pleasure ends up in pain. So time is both. You know, time is pleasure and pain. Time itself is such a small material limited thing and root of suffering. It is not the question of good time or bad time. The question is how to stop the momentum of time. Can you stop? Can you jump away from the time circle? When you break down the time, then you enter in a different d- domain, different dimension. And this is the real thing then. So don't we get caught in the false propaganda of bad time. Now next 2 years will be good time. It will never come. Such things actually are fictitious illusions. But the real thing is that you live so that you don't create any time. That is the art of living. Art of living means you don't create the time through your actions. Don't react, then you don't create time. Because through reaction you create the time, which is what is which leads you into the suffering in pain and pleasure. You are creating every moment pain and pleasure. So don't create the time. And that is the art of living. This is the life. When you don't create the time, you have broken the suffering. And who creates the time? The thought. You always pursuing thought, thinking. Yeah. All these messages are thought, these viral things. And who is writing it? A very conditioned, very narrow mind person who are proud and who are violent people actually. Fearful. Thought is persuading all the time from everywhere. Don't pursue the thought. Then thought has its own room, very limited. It has to be work in his limitations to finish the material things. That's all. Thought will find its own room when you realize that it is limited, it's material, and it has no value in relationship. no value. Thought has no any part when you watch something. Thought has no any value when you smell, touch something. Thought has nothing to do when you watch through eyes and listen something. But thought has its participation when you repair a machine, or when you cook something, you need a new recipe, or you prepare the field, you clean the dishes. Thought is usable as at material level only. If you see it, realize it, then thought will never influence you. Then you are free. And that freedom is very important. Without that freedom, you cannot go anywhere. You can't. You will come back. You must put the thought in order, in its own shoes. That's all. Don't put the thought in your head. Yeah? If you put the thought in your head, in your heart, then you are lost. Your senses should be free from the influence of thought. Then these senses perceive beyond something, beyond the thought, beyond the time. Then you have broken the time. The Kali Yuga or Satyug, both are nonsense. Both are limited. Even the good and bad, both are limited. Good is also limited. You must go beyond. And then real thing will start. And now don't ask how I will begin, how. Don't ask this. Just do it. It's very simple. Understand will just push you in that direction. You don't have to do anything. Listen it now carefully, everything. I am talking from every direction. I am touching every corner, so maybe something can touch you. Of course, this is the time of tremendous material period. Why? It is not that universal has created the Kali Yuga. Nothing is decided. There is nothing who decides here. There is no authorities. Because this universe is governed by love, and love is not authorities. You understand? Therefore, you must understand this is the time very condensed, because human consciousness got condensed in by contribution of tremendous volume that contains enormous greed, fear, and self. So this consciousness has formed a center inside you, and that center is poisoning you. This center is reacting all the time, every moment. When you disband, when you dissolve this center, then all these contents are dissolved. So don't act from the center. That's why you feel, oh God, this is really Kali Yuga. And it is not that it is Kali Yuga, it is that because the human consciousness has got caught in material. Due to the invention of science has given tremendous comfort and electronics. So your greed has become also double. You want these things always. You want to pursue. You want to buy new things. And you are being asked, manipulated through advertisement, you must buy a new iPhone. You know what happened, just I have seen a week ago that a person has put in YouTube how to unbox a new iPhone, and in 1 hour 2 million people watch it. Because why? Because all people want to buy a new iPhone. But if a person, a teacher, talks and he puts, only 3-4 people will watch it. And for iPhone, in 1 hour 2 million, because this is what you are searching. And there was another in YouTube. I was watching a news that a fool, a person, totally stupid person has put 1 minute video. In this video, he has given the title, The Secret of Women's Underwear. And in 1 hour, 15 million people watched it. Why? Because this is what you are searching. You are interested in women's underwear, don't you? Your brain vast. You can see through your, that's why I say you observe your structures, your interests. And there was another video. You see how fake things are being watched, and you make them viral because your brain has become like a virus. Virus had also little brain, or not at all brain. Similar, the humanity is having that brain of virus, so small, teeny. There is a small few seconds viral video which says that a hyenas has eaten the lion. So people started watching how it is possible, because lion is so great and strong, how the hyenas can eat him. And he made the picture it. And the other guru who says that how the soul leaves the body, he made the picture in YouTube. This gentleman had a long beard, and he is a perfect joker and befooling in India. And in few hours, millions people watched it, because this is what you want. You want to leave your body, right? So these people actually know what you want, what is the market, and they provide you exactly. But which price you pay, you don't know. You have to become slave of these things. This price you pay then. This was the simple reason I say, please don't put electronics symbols in the, at least in the teaching platform. No second hand knowledge. It's just out of my understanding. So you can have a little freedom there, because you are being bombarded everywhere. At least in this platform, you are as a human. You can show yourself as you are. This is the respect which I wanted to provide you in the platform. The respect and love for each human being. You are not symbol. And if you want to show your respect, you need not to put the folded hand electronic symbol. You can also write a poetry or write your words, your feelings, or send a real flower to a person, or go, if the person is not away from you, and present him a beautiful flower, or pay the respect and love, hold the hand. Because your friendship is now manipulated by Facebook. So you have now many friends in electronics friends, but real friend you don't have even a single. And you will fall in love electronically. So electronic is controlling your life. And so your life has become very limited, condensed and suffocated. At that point, these Guru Masters comes and they say, this is Kali Yuga. And they provide you then some tricks to come out of these things. If you do their meditations and follow them and pay them huge money. These are money makers, Guru. What they will do, they will buy very expensive cars, not 1 or 2 or 300s. And out of your money, they will be fool you and make distance from you. Remove a decoration from a Guru. They have decorated, Take their topi, their Rolls Royces, their chair, their diamonds and his ugly beard, then who they are? They are just naked like you. They have nothing inside, no enlightenment, nothing. Enlightenment now is a childish thing that, and such low consciousness cannot be lighted. It is a rare flower. However, it is simple and for every person, everyone, every person deserves who puts the energy on that direction. Namaste.